The menu keeps evolving because after 20 years and 15 restaurants around the world, Jose is still excited about sharing new discoveries, like this cheese.
Take a look at these people. Look at. You will say, Jose, this seems like it's melted. No, this is cold. Cold, but take a look.
Torta Pascualeta, made with the milk of one particular flock of sheep in Spain, and curdled with pistils from one particular flower, the cardoon, instead of the more typical animal rennet. It's adding those flower pistils that makes the difference.
After, almost by magic, the cheese that was hard one day becomes liquid.
Wow. Oh.
It's so nutty on the front, and then you get that beautiful sheep's milk cheese flavor, very traditional, and then it comes on like a freight train at the end. It's so perfectly ripe.
This is like a sushi piece, but in cheese and bread.
This is definitely the adult after-hours version of cheese.
Jose would happily stuff me with good things at his tapas bar all day long.
Yes!
In between kicking my butt at foosball. But I came for something else. Just up the street from the National Archives, he opened something called America Eats.
Grab here.
It's a year-long partnership with the Archives.
Wow.
I want the books to be enjoyed by all.
Jose has been poring over old cookbooks like The Virginia Housewife of 1824 and primary documents like the notebook of Thomas Jefferson's personal chef, Honoré Julien, recapturing American flavors that haven't been tasted for centuries. Like Hangtown Fry, a mix of eggs, oysters, and bacon, invented to serve miners who struck it rich in the California gold rush of 1849.
And they have money, and they want to spend their money. How they will spend their money? Well, in three of the most expensive things they can get their hands on, which was eggs, oysters, and the beautiful bacon.
Yeah. I think the amazing thing about this is that it's better than the sum total of its parts. Because the essence of the oyster in the sauce, then you have that oyster mimicked in texture by the egg. I think it's more oystery than just serving a plain oyster.
Along with the forgotten, Jose explores the origins of the familiar, like the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Here's the interesting thing, and I love the stories on the menu. The first PB&J recipe appeared in a cookbook published by a manufacturing company which made the grinders. So their goal was if they could convince you to cook the food, you'd buy their grinders.
Brilliant.
Only in America.
That's what America is all about.
It's unbelievable.
America is also about innovation. So Jose combines the peanut butter with a dollop of foie gras. The 1% meets the 99% between bread slices.
It's such a great combination. Jelly, peanut, and foie. I mean, that classic European style of putting something sweet, a conserve, with terrine, with cheese, to bring out the flavor of it, just beautiful.
And this elegant dish of vermicelli, cooked like a rich pasta pudding, is the genesis of today's macaroni and cheese, created in 1802 by a French chef in Philadelphia to help sell his pasta-making gadget.
He will give this simple recipe, which was the vermicelli, cream, and a Parmesan-like cheese.
Oh, man.
Humble.
Good. That's really good. Holy macamole.
And that's the kind of rediscovery Jose wants to help us make.
Man, all my research, all my ideas about what America doesn't know about its own cooking. This is how America eats.
For all the time and energy being poured into it, America Eats is a short-term project that's closing its doors after a year. But it's a labor of love by a man who wants to give back some small piece of what he feels America has given to him.
If you love America, America will always love you back. America gives us the opportunity to bring what we are, but in my case, being a chef, I have to do my contribution to also tell America, guys, don't forget who we are, who you are. And that's my only way to do it, one dish at a time.
Traditional American food is constantly getting refreshed by new arrivals, bringing new opportunities.
This is one of the best, fast, inexpensive meals on the planet.
Washington is one of the best cities in the world for a taste of El Salvador. Largely unknown and underrated, but it includes some challenges.
This is something you need to grow up on.
Washington, D.C. is home to more Salvadorans than almost any city outside of El Salvador. In most Mexican restaurants here, chances are it's Salvadorans working in the kitchen. But to find them making Salvadoran food, you have to look harder. I started looking at a neighborhood grocery store. It's a little piece of Latin America set down in suburban Washington.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Whole tongues, cow feet.
Yep, they have everything here. They
Yeah.
have everything.
Those are some nice balls. Fresh.
They fresh.
Juan Antonio Rivera is chef de cuisine at Bandolero, one of Georgetown's popular Mexican restaurants. He came from El Salvador when he was 14. Juan lives in the suburb of Hyattsville, which has a strong Salvadoran community. He wanted to meet me at Megamart to show me the kind of food diversity that's available around here.
One of the fruit that I really eat when I was a kid, it's called zapote. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Oh, yeah.
Zapote is a name that gets applied to a lot of soft, sweet fruit from Central and South America.
I've had this before, and sometimes they can be a little soapy.
Okay, let's try this one.
What do you think? Is this a good one?
But I remember, yeah, it's really delicious. Try it, you tell me. Like it a lot.
The problem is, when a fruit is weird, a fruit is weird. I'm not saying this is going to be. I'm not doubting you. I'm
Okay.
just saying.
I really want to eat the whole thing. I love it.
Come on. It has the aftertaste of molasses, which is very nice.
Yeah.
And it's got a nice sweetness. But the texture is really funny.
Right?
This is something you need to grow up on.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, my mom used to make milkshakes all the time with it, you know, but I used to just eat it like that. But the taste is amazing, right?
You know something?
Yeah.
The taste is amazing.
I love it.
For better and worse, there's all kinds of stuff here you seldom see in the local grocery stores.
One thing you're gonna love, I don't know if you ever tried before, the loroco.
Loroco is a Central American plant whose flowers are used as a cooking herb. It's grown and eaten in several countries there, but primarily in El Salvador.
See how strong that is?
It's pungent stuff. If the color green has its own smell, this would be it.
That's just nutty. It tastes like Jerusalem artichokes.
Unique, right?
Oh, I love them.
Really good.
I can eat this all day.
Yeah.
This is a classic Salvadoran ingredient. And this is a classic Salvadoran food that uses it. Pupusas are practically the national dish of El Salvador. This is La Chiquita, where Juan says they make the best pupusas in town. It's run by Dora Hilda Escobar. You can see why the name of the restaurant means little woman. Before we try the pupusas, Dora brings out another Salvadoran favorite,
Oh, fantastic.
the yuca frita.
The nice thing is also this looks very light.
First, you have to peel the root vegetable, cut it into chunks that are then boiled, fried, and salted. It can be a starchy platform for things like curtido, a mix of pickled cabbage, onion, and carrots. And for these, fried baby sardines.
The yuca is just so crispy and pillowy and sweet. And then the salty, crispy fish. You gotta like eating little bones. They just melt in your mouth.
Exactly. Eat the whole thing.
This is great stuff, but Juan promised me the best pupusas in D.C. As a favored customer, Dora allows him the run of the kitchen.
Nice to meet you. How are you?
It's fine. It's
Good,
fine.
good, good. Are those your kitchen shoes?
Es para todo terreno.
Say for every single location.
Style first.
I love it.
We're here to watch them make pupusas. It's basically a loose corn masa dough with ground meat or cheese stuffed inside.
Here's the move I want you to master.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. That's a nice.
That's the technique, yeah.
That's a nice It's nice technique.
Yeah.
The difference between a good pupusa and a great one is making the masa as thin as possible, but strong enough to hold what's inside.
What's your name?
Brandy?
Brandy?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you related to Chiquita?
Yes, here's my aunt.
She's your aunt?
Yeah.
All right, because, come here, I want you to see something. In the restaurant business, safety is very, very important. Everyone else is in serious work shoes, but you guys, all right, it's a family thing. All right. Oh, wait, you want to know something? You do need the oil. I'm gonna go for a little extra cheese and the Loroco. Do you want to know something? This is very, very difficult And do you know why? Because the dough is very fragile and very thin. This is a badass pupusa.
That's right.
I'm putting it over there.
Mine's not nearly as thin as the others crisping on the griddle, but not too crispy, so the dough stays soft. More nice technique. Hot off the griddle, you wrap this up with salsa and cortido, lightly fermented cabbage slaw with red chilies.
That's unbelievable. Oh my gosh.
It's good?
You know what's good? The dough is so light. They're like angel's wings.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is fragile.
It's really fragile, yeah.
Oh, which makes for a really light pupusa.
I'm glad you like it.
Word to the wise, next time you go looking for fast food, before you look for the taco stand or the hot dog vendor, look around for a Salvadoran place selling pupusas.
This is one of the best, fast, inexpensive meals on the planet. This is something people need to be eating more of. I mean, there's no question in my mind. This is extraordinary.
There's something else people should be eating more of. It's an invasive species that's chewing up the Potomac River, but we can retaliate. By chewing up the invaders.
And this is just how you guys roll.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
In the pre-dawn hours, I'm hunting snakehead along the shoreline of the Potomac River. We're about 50 miles downstream from Washington, D.C., helping to control a big, ugly, invasive species. I've already seen snakehead on ice and on a plate at a white tablecloth restaurant. Now I'm hoping to see and taste one that's fresh out of the water. The hunting is best when the tide is low, the water is shallow, and the fish are literally caught napping.
We find that they move a lot during the day. They feed during the day, and at morning, at night, they kind of lay up in the hydrilla. They just kind of rest.
Austin Murphy and Jesse Swan are experienced bow fishermen, happy to teach a beginner the finer points of hunting snakehead.
So if I actually see one, the idea is to aim low.
The deeper the fish, the lower you would want to aim.
Also on board, my friend John Rorapaw and his friend Chad Wells. Chad's the chef at Alewife, a popular fish and seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
There's one right there.
He'll cook up tonight's catch for us.
Whoops.
If we catch anything. It's not unusual for Austin and Jesse to fish all night, even when they have to be at work the next morning.
We went out yesterday, Jesse and I, and we shot 6 in 2 hours.
If you've watched a few episodes of this show, you'll know I can be a major league jinx when it comes to hunting or fishing. An offshore wind is stirring up sediment, making it harder than usual to see what we're looking for.
So this canal is usually very productive. Let's hope we get some good clear water in there. We should be able to get some shots off.
The lights off the water make it hard for the camera to show you, but with the naked eye, it's easy to spot a fish when we come across one.
You just come across them and they're just sitting there. But you only have about a half second to shoot it.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yep, see them?
Go ahead, take the shot.
Oh! Son of a bitch.
But seeing one and hitting it are two different things.
I thought I had that one.
If you get the shot, take the shot.
Where is it? Right there. Miss. Sad. Very sad.
The guys have been very generous giving me a clear shot, but if we want fresh snakehead for dinner, someone else needs to take a turn.
That's a snakehead.
Right there, right there.
Get him. Shoot that snakehead. Oh! My man, good shot. That's what you call a beautiful headshot.
Very nicely done.
About a 2-footer, probably 2
Yep.
pounds.
Yeah.
Good shot, nice shot. On a bigger fish, that can be a bad shot because your heads get really hard.
That is a beauty. Very exciting. First snakehead in the boat.
First and only, as it turns out. With the first light of dawn, our odds of spotting another snakehead gets smaller as the light reflecting off the water gets brighter. But we keep hope alive till the last moment. while Chad gets going on making breakfast out of our one and only kill.
What are you gonna make?
I'm gonna make
this
a
morning?
blackened snakehead sandwich.
Blackened snakehead sandwich.
Yes, sir.
Chad's a good cook, but he's keeping this simple. Dredging the fish fillets in chili seasonings to grill and serve along with homemade condiments.
So, dill guacamole,
Yes, sir.
toasted brioche bun,
Uh-huh.
blackened snakehead.
Yep.
Couldn't get any fresher.
No.
Flopping in the pan.
Yes,
Pickled
sir.
onions, chipotle slaw.
Yep.
And this is just how you guys roll.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
All right. So it's delicious. Its versatility is just fantastic. This is not a bad way to cook this fish.
Not at all.
Look at that. Delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Thank you.
It's a great fish sandwich. I mean, it helps having someone that can cook their ass off make it. It's flaky. It stands up to all that seasoning.
Yeah,
It's
that's
delicious.
why with snakehead, the thing I like is it'll take what you give it and it'll still shine.
This is the next step toward getting the snakehead population under control, taking them beyond fine dining into the everyday life of backyard or, on the boat, grilling.
There's something about this environment for people who don't get outdoors enough. My God. Come visit Washington, D.C. You don't just have to see the monuments. You can actually go out and get in a boat with people, you know? This is amazing.
There's places and people and food that are part of the permanent landscape of Washington, D.C. that are overlooked and underrated by most visitors. But if you take the trouble to go looking for them,
This goes to you and to everybody in the world.
they're waiting to embrace you.
Hey, if it looks good, eat it.
And Horace and Dickey's is what modern DC soul food is all about, fried fish.
And what kind of fish would you like? We have whiting fillet, trout fillet, catfish fillet, and croaker bone. Or you trust me, let me feed you.
Well, I mean, obviously, option 4, I trust you and feed me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me 2 pieces of whiting, 1 piece of trout, 1 piece of catfish.
Horace and Dickey's fries anything that swims, but DC's signature fish is whiting. It's pure Washington soul.
Is this the whiting?
That's the whiting. Don't burn yourself.
Woo! It's a cliche, but it's true. Fried food does not have to be oily. This is heavenly.
I'm giving you catfish. I'm giving you trout. You said you trust
The
me.
whiting was delicious. I
I'm
did.
feeding you.
Oh,
I'm feeding you.
This is glorious.
Whiting's a local fish native to the Atlantic, but Horace and Dickey's knows how to cook fish from DC's rivers, too.
Because we got the #1 fish cooker in here, Tiger Hood.
Dude, seriously.
Yeah, that's our Tiger Woods of fish.
The catfish is just perfect. It's not muddy at all. It's clean and fresh. The trout is gorgeous with crispy skin. The thing that I like about whiting is that for a small ocean-going fish, it's got a nice, big, strong flavor. Even though it's not oily, you know when you're eating whiting. Kind of like pollock. It has just a little bit of just sort of intense fishiness to it that I like. One complaint, portions are too small.
Well, I'm going to go out back and get you a whole spool of fish. Would you like that, honey?
I'm not kidding. Where else are you going to come for lunch and people are going to call you honey?
Call you baby and big daddy and all that.
All that stuff. Oh, it's not just lunch, it's an experience. See you later.
All right, thank you.
While these Salvadoran joints might be DC's hidden gems, Ethiopian cuisine is its shining star. Ethiopians are the most visible immigrant community. They brought Washington one of the world's oldest Christian traditions and one of the world's great food traditions. Little Ethiopia is famous for the quantity and quality of its Ethiopian restaurants.
This used to be a wonderful place for the Ethiopians to come have their culture, get together and exchange information. Now that the food has become so popular with everyone else, they've kind of been edged out.
So for a real taste of Ethiopia, I came to the Burbs with Andrew Lawrence, director of the Ethiopian American Cultural Center.
With white picket fences and green leafy suburbs, it seems to me like assimilation is thoroughly underway.
But inside, it smells like Addis Ababa. Nubia Fasil is preparing lunch along with her mother.
You gotta tell your mom, that smell is one of my favorite smells.
It's Doro Wat, a chicken stew, plus other classics, all infused with Ethiopian butter.
That's fermented butter, all right.
The centerpiece of this meal is raw, big hunks of beef, and a fiery tartare called kitfo.
That cultured butter just takes away all of the bloody beefiness. It's so elegant.
But it's meant to be eaten with this, kocho.
This is one of my least favorite foods in the whole, it's
The cocho.
it's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
It's made from the false banana plant and fermented in the ground for 6 months.
It's just too sour, it's too fermented. And I love fermented food.
So the same culture who makes this stuff makes one of my favorite foods too, the Doro Wat.
Every country in the world has their sort of braised grandmother influenced chicken dish. I just assume have the Ethiopian version than any in the whole world.
If DC is any measure, Ethiopian food is something America will be eating more of.